So I just wanted to say, right, after 4 years of this guy fucking dividing the nation, and listening to people analyzing his speeches and this and that, and his movements and his actions and how and whatnot, and then now yesterday, this Biden shows up, gives one speech. Analyst shows up, says, "Oh, I just listened to him. He mentioned the word unity 8 times in his speech," and then it hit me. How often do I hear our leaders actually saying unity in their speeches? And how often do we hear them pointing the finger and laying the blame at others? How often do we hear them taking responsibility for their actions and saying, "Oh yes, we need accountability to actually heal"? Because we are a divided nation, we are a broken nation, and in order to heal and to come together and to unite, we need to have accountability. You understand? Back in the day, we said, "Hey, listen, you know what? We're going to do truth and reconciliation." That's 30 years ago almost. Now, in these times, we need accountability. Okay? We need to hold the people responsible for what they are doing and who they are killing. So that's the first thing that came to me. Second thing that came to me, like, okay, if these fuckers are running around telling lies every day and pointing the finger and blaming other people, it rests in your subconscious. We go to sleep, the whole nation goes to sleep every day thinking it's the whites, it's the blacks, it's the greens, it's the yellows, it's the Muslims, it's the Christians, it's the... You understand? This is bullshit. You get? If they would just come out and start saying exactly what they need to say to get this country to unite. But they're never going to do it. Why? Because they're not interested in unity. That's obvious. They know how to do it. They just don't want to. So, then I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to do a radio station. I'm going to call it Radio UNITY. I'm going to get a colored, a Xhosa, a Zulu, a Sotho, a Venda, a Muslim, a Christian, an Indian. I don't give a shit. We're going to show up at that radio station. We're going to run that radio station. It's going to be called Radio UNITY. And we're going to talk truth and we're going to talk unity every fucking day, over and over and over, until it gets in other people's consciousness. Okay, until it gets in your subconscious, until you go to sleep and you're like, "Oh yeah," and then you wake up and you're like, "I feel like unity. I feel like meeting another race, meeting another religion, getting together, doing something with someone else, not only hanging around with white people, not only hanging around with colored people, not only hanging around with my own family." You understand? Oh, I need to feel like I need to maybe give a fucking a person some bread and butter or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? I maybe need to teach someone some surfing. I maybe need to teach This is what we need to do. This is what this country had to have been doing the last 30 years. You understand? Coming out, every fucking leader that we had in this country, every leader of every party had to come out and say, "Unite, unite, unite, unite." But we had the exact opposite. We have the exact opposite. Every leader blaming each other like monkeys. They sitting like virtual monkeys. Sorry, not like the monkey stuff that, you know, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they act like fucking baboons, actually, like, and then you know, I don't know. Or maybe it's the wrong thing. Maybe it's not like baboons or whatever. Maybe that was just, I didn't mean to say that. Okay, I didn't mean it like that, because obviously I know what it refers to. Okay, you got me there. But what I'm trying to say is they don't act civil. Okay, they don't act civil. It's just I'm so caught up in the moment and I get all emotional and I'm like just spewing shit, and then, you know, these ideas, they bubble in my head and I'm just like, okay, that actually makes sense, dude. You see? So yeah, and remember, they can unite. This country can unite because they are united when they can support fucking Trump, a president of another country who fucked up the country. No, there you'll find a racist, a non-racist, a black, a white, a green, a yellow, a Muslim, a Christian. Yeah, they're all behind Trump. There they can unite. They can't wave the fucking South African flag right. They can't go and vote right. Not for our country, no, but for that dumb fucker they can do it, right? Why? Because he's a fucking cult leader, you know, and it's got nothing to do with us. So I don't know. I don't care. I'm not a fucking psychologist. I don't know why these people do what they do. I just know it's possible. I see it happen. So when I go out here and I tell people, listen, let's unite, let's bring these people together, you know, the most widely response you receive is, that's never going to happen. And I tell them, yes, if you say it over and over again, it won't happen. And where do you get this idea that it's never going to happen? How, like, you grew up and you just came to the point, oh, it's never going to happen? No, someone told you, someone was example, someone fed you this shit. You understand? thing is, right, if you want to talk about unity on a radio station in a country like South Africa, then you're not going to reach people effectively, communicate effectively by being alone on air. And that's another thing. That is why, like back in the day when this whole system was set up, they were actually quite clever, you get. But the implementation of the system wasn't. Well, nobody did it actually. Nobody ever did the implementation. That's the thing. The system itself, the theory itself is still cool. To have all races represented and all cultures, all colors, like the rainbow nation concept itself is actually a very good idea if you implement it, if you live it, if you promote it, and if you put your soul, like dude Biden said it so nicely, he said, my whole soul is in this. If you put your soul into it, your spirit into it, then it will work and you communicate effectively, you know? And yes, there's no reasoning with someone who's unreasonable. We get that. Like, you're not gonna convince the flat earthers that the earth is round, right? I mean, we talked about that. There's like the stewardesses who fly and they still think the earth is flat. And you're like, okay, whatever. You know, because at that point, you fight your battles where you can win and you choose them wisely, you know? Remember what the other guy said? Einstein said, you don't argue with the fool because who's the bigger fool, you know? That's the thing. So, but at the same time, you don't just want to judge people and say you're all fools. You want to give them a chance. You get, so everybody's invited to take part in the discussion and participate in democracy. And I think eventually, if you speak truth and if you have the right values in your heart and you put your soul into it, it will attract the right people. And then I will have the right team behind me, with me, to promote the ideas in the correct way. And then it's a supportive structure of we giving each other what we need, and it will only break once one of us actually goes again off track, going for greed, going for fame, going for this, which will eventually will happen. But as I found out again with this quote from Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Jabaz, when he was after he renamed himself, and then they interviewed him and he said, well, if I can die and I may just one little impact, my inheritance can just, you know, contribute a little bit to eliminating this cancer called racism. You know, if we can just do that, just a little bit, you know, then dude, my deed is done. You get. But if it was the exact opposite, it's not cool. You get, if it was, you either did nothing, that means it could grow, and you know, or you promoted that, actually, that's not cool. And it's not only about that ism or this ism, it's like, you know, stuff to uplift people and to provide people with positive insight and a positive way of living, a positive way of looking at things, positive in terms of everybody feels good about themselves and makes each other feel good about themselves. We're not feeding off each other, we are actually feeding each other. You know, that's two different things, you know. And yeah, I think that way it would work, man, because if you to have, like, you remember what they said, well, dude, look at the strategy of the US, right? They are actually implementing what South Africa set up back in the 90s. The country, the government must look as diverse as the country is. This is what the 90s we came up with, bro. This is nothing new. You guys were the US back when we came up with this idea, when we set up our Freedom Charter, motherfuckers. You guys were fucking investing in fucking, what was that called? Krugerrand. You were making movies about it. You know, we saw those movies too, okay? So yeah,